Okay, I've made some progress with the wiring, and you guys are going to have to cut me a little slack on my little rant this morning because I was pretty frustrated, man. I mean, I really was thinking about giving up the entire hobby. I was so damn mad when that tap broke in that axle. Because if I screw up one of them axles, man, there ain't no replacing it. The whole tank will be junk. But I've got that figured out. I can drill holes, but it's too hard to tap. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to drill some holes in there with a number 33 drill bit, which is about .185. And then I've got some 1032 threaded rod with hex nuts to match. So instead of trying to hold the cap on with a bolt, I'm going to take some of this stuff. I was going to use JB weld, and no offense to Master Sergeant Mike, but one of my buddies told me about something that's supposed to work even better. It's called panel bond. And what it is it's an adhesive used to bond sheet metal automotive panels together. And they say that this stuff is so strong that once you bond two panels together, the bond will actually be stronger than the metal that you bonded together. So we'll give it a try. And we're going to put threaded rod. We're going to drill holes in the end of the axle stubs and then put threaded rod in there with this panel bond and like glue them in there. And then I'll have like a little stud, and I'll only leave just enough of the stud sticking out to hold the nut, and that'll be it. And hopefully that'll work. But the reason we're here today is please to observe. Watch the chains. Yeah, I don't know, we'll get it sorted out, but the point is that we've got sound. At first, this thing gave me some major fix because if I powered the receiver from the IBU, then the IBU would work, but the Sabertooth would not. And if I powered the receiver from the Sabertooth would work, but the IBU would not. So I called Dimension Engineering, and there's a really great woman there. I think her name's Charlene. She knows everything there is to know about these Sabertooths. And she told me that everything I've got is fine. I'm powering the receiver from the Sabertooth. And Ian, I had to get hold of Ian on this one too. He agreed with her. The same thing she told me, Ian told me. All I had to do was attach a ground from the IBU to the receiver. There is no power cable going from the IBU to the receiver. No positive power. It gets its power from the Sabertooth. So the only thing that's feeding from the receiver here is the signal. But without that one ground, I couldn't get the IBU working. So now that I put in that ground wire, we're good to go. So now all I got to do is figure out how I want to put all this stuff down and tack it in. And I did build the battery box out of plastic, and I listened to what Eric said, and I am going to build a battery box out of metal. But I looked at the price of aluminum sheet stock, and it's pretty pricey. So I figure I'll build one out of plastic. I'll use this until all of the installation is done and everything is in place. The 7.4 that runs the IBU is probably going to go down on the plastic board and be held in place with a strap, just like it would in a 1/16 scale tank. The IBU will be mounted. It's hard to see because it's white, but there's a sheet of 1/8" thick plastic styrene down here, and that's going to be my main control panel. I've got to set it up so that the on-off switch sits about right here, so I can get it through that hatch in the back. But we have sound for the Hetzer. I'm pretty pleased with that. I'll find out in the morning how this axle thing is going to work out. I've got all the right rod and nuts and drill bits. Just got to get into work and get the bridge port. The only problem well, it shouldn't be that big a problem, but the one axle that the tap broke in, that tap is still in there, and it's got to come out. Fortunately, I just happen to have a 1/8" solid carbide end mill, and I'm pretty sure that'll do the job if I take it easy. It'll be even better if I get the grinder to do it for me. All right, we'll see you next time.